Dear students, welcome to the class on Advanced Computer Architecture. Today I am going to do System Interconnect Architecture topic. So the next one is Static Connection Networks. The static connection networks, they are the direct links which are fixed. That means once they are built, it will be constant. So this type of network, it is very suitable when we know exactly how the communication pattern will be there. So now we are going to see some of these topologies and we are going to observe the network parameters and also see how the communication and the scalability possibilities will be there. Some of the static connection networks are linear array, ring and caudal ring, barrel shifter, tree and star network, fat tree, mesh and torus networks. So the simplest one in the static network, that is a linear array. N nodes will be connected by n minus 1 number of links. And this is where we are going to make use of the different pair of nodes. They can be made use of in parallel also. So the internal nodes, what are there? Because it will be connected to the previous node and the next node, their degree will be equal to 2. Whereas the end nodes will have the degree as 1. The diameter, it is equal to the total number of nodes between the farthest two nodes, and of course here it is equal to n minus 1. The bisection, that means when I am going to divide the entire network into two equal parts, to connect these two parts, how many links are required? So only one is sufficient. So if I am having a very small network, this is very economical. But when we are going for a bigger network, it will be not very apt. So here we are having different static communication networks. The linear array. So you can see the linear array here. It is an organization of number of nodes in a straight fashion. Then we have a ring network. Then we have a two-dimensional array network and also a tree and also a cube. These are some of the interconnection networks which are static. So in the linear array, here if we are having n number of nodes, then the degree, it will be equal to 2. That means the degree of the external node, that means whichever is at the either end, the degree is equal to 1. But the inner nodes are having the degree as 2. We are going to take the maximum out of these two combination. Then the diameter, that means the number of links what we have between the maximum one, that is equal to n minus 1. Whereas when we go for a ring, you can see that here the degree will be equal to 2 between any two nodes and the maximum one, and the diameter will be equal to n by 2. Diameter is equal to n by 2 because here if I am having n number of nodes and if I want to reach some particular node here, what is the number of links I have to pass through? It will be equal to n by 2. So in the static network, which is of a ring type, or if it is a caudal ring, then we will be having a circular connection of the nodes, or in a circular connection of nodes we will be having a cord like lines and they will be connected. So in the linear array it was a straight, but when we go for the last two end nodes, when they are connected by the nth link, this ring can be a unidirectional link or it can be a bidirectional link. So the diameter is n by 2 for a bidirectional ring, or it is equal to n for a unidirectional ring. That means if the communication is bidirectional or if the communication is unidirectional, based on that the diameter will be more when we go for a unidirectional ring. So the next one is the caudal ring. When we are adding the additional links, that means when we are adding the chords in a circle, so here the node degree it is going to be increasing and we are going to get a caudal ring. What is happening here? What is the advantage we are getting over here? the network diameter is going to be reducing. You can see here. So the 17 is connected to 4. So it has to have a direct connection between 17 and 4, and then, or else we can go for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead of going from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, directly I can go from 17 to 4. So the network diameter is coming down in this particular case. So here the width what we are having, it is equal to 5. That means we are surpassing 5 links, and then we are going to establish one direct link. So that is why here the width is equal to 5. So we can also go for a fully connected network when we are having the node degree will be equal to n minus 1 and the diameter will reduce to 1, because from every node we will be having a connection to other node. That time the diameter will be equal to 1. Like a ring network, a barrel shifter, this is another static network. So it will be having the additional links between all pairs of nodes that will be having equal distance, and this distance will be in power of 2. So if I am having a network size as 2 to the power of n, then each node will be having the degree as 2n minus 1, and the network diameter will be equal to n by 2. So the barrel shifter, the connectivity will be greater than any chordal ring of any lower node degree. So but the barrel shifter, it is much more complex than a fully interconnected network. For the barrel shifters, the basis is a multiplexer. So by using multiplexers, we can go for constructing a barrel shifter. N-bit barrel shifter, it is actually a combinational circuit which is implemented by using n multiplexers. So the barrel, it is going to provide a shifted copy of the input data at its output. So the control inputs will be there, S0 and S1. They are going to provide the number of times the input data has to be shifted. This is the symbol of the barrel shifter. The barrel shifter is consisting of 4 inputs and 4 outputs, and it is also having control signals S1 and S0. S1 and S0, when it is equal to 0 and 0, the number of shifts, it will be equal to 0. So the 3 bit will be in 3 only, 2 bit will be in 2 only, like this we are having. Suppose S1 and S0 it is equal to 0, 1, that means the shift will be once. You can see that the IN3 has moved to the right by 1 time. The IN0, what was there on the least significant bit, that has become now most significant bit. Similarly, 1, 0 means we are going to shift it by 2 times. 1, 1 means we are going to shift it by 3 times. So just now we have seen that diagram. From the diagram we can see that the barrel shifter will work by shifting the bits right side by 1 bit position or 2 bit position or 3 bit position, depending upon the control inputs S0 and S1. If I want to move it by single shift, then I have to give the control signal as 0, 1, where S1 will be equal to 0 and S0 will be equal to 1. If I want to shift by 2 bits, then the control signal will be equal to 1, 0. S1 is equal to 1 and S0 is equal to 0. So 3 bits means we will be having the control input signal as 1, 1. So in the static interconnection network, we are having tree network. So we know the tree network, how it will be. We'll be having a root node, and out of this root node we will be having the edges which will be connected to other nodes on the next level. So when we are in the top level, when we are having the root node, the tree will be growing downwards with increasing number of nodes. So if I am having a tree which is a k level tree, that means 1, 2, 3, if we are coming up till k level, the completely balanced binary tree, it will be having the total number of nodes, it will be equal to 2 to the power of k minus 1 number of nodes. Here the node degree, it will be equal to 3. That means we have the incoming as well as the outgoing. So totally put together, if we consider the inner node, it will be having left, right as well as from the top, the parent node. So the total node degree will be equal to 3, and the diameter, it will be equal to 2 into k minus 1 if it is having k number of levels. So with a constant node degree, the binary tree, it is a scalable architecture network. So but the diameter here, it is very long. That is the drawback of the tree network. So when we go for a star network, this is a 2-level tree. Only 2 levels will be there. The root will be there, then the node will be there. Only 2-level tree, where we will be having the node degree at the center node will be equal to n minus 1. And then the diameter will be equal to 2 always, because it is having only 2 levels. So one example for the tree network is the DADO multiprocessor, which was built in Columbia University in the year 1987. And then this particular tree network, it was having 10 level binary tree, and it consisted of 1023 nodes. Then coming to the star architecture, this was used with a centralized supervisor node. Wherever you are having a system with a centralized supervisory node, then you can go for using a star network. The conventional tree structure which is used in the computer science, when we modify this one, it will become a fat tree as introduced by Lesserson in 1985. So here we can see a binary fat tree. The channel width of a fat tree, it is going to increase as we are going towards the root. From the leaf to the root, when we are going, the channel width will become more and more. Why? Because the network is more when we reach the node. So to balance this one, this fat tree was proposed. In this particular binary tree, there will be so much of traffic in the root. So this fat tree, it is going to remove this particular problem. That is the advantage. So this particular fat tree concept, it was used in one machine, connection machine CM5. So this one we are going to study in the later on topic. So the idea of the binary fat tree, it is extended to multi-way fat tree also. You can have multi-way, not only a two-way, you can also go for a multi-way fat trees. The binary tree network, it will be having the root at the first level, and then it will be having the subnodes. These subnodes will be having in turn other subnodes, and which will lead to the leaf nodes at the last level. So the binary tree will be having the degree as 3 because every node will be having incoming as well as outgoing. So the maximum will be equal to 3. The diameter, it is equal to 2 into k minus 1 when we have k levels of the tree. Or if we are expressing the number of nodes, if we know, means we can also compute the diameter by making use of 2 into log 2 of n minus 1. So based on the number of nodes what we are going to have here. In the mesh and the torus, we can have multiple types of mesh and torus. That means this is a frequently used architecture. It is implemented in many machines like the ELIAC 4, MPP, DAP and the Intel Paragon with multiple variations. If I am having a k-dimensional mesh with capital N is equal to n to the power of k nodes, then the interior node, it will be having its degree as 2 to the power of k, and the diameter will be equal to k into n minus 1. The node degrees at the boundary and the corner, it will be equal to 3 and 2. So we can have multiple variations of the mesh by allowing the wraparound connections. So the ELIAC machine is also one of them, which is a 8x8 mesh with a constant node degree of 4 and a diameter of 7. Here is one mesh connected network. This is a 4x4 grid. So two-dimensional grid where the n value is equal to 4. So the degree of the nodes, it can be 2 for the outermost one which is on the corners, or it can be equal to 3 which is the next ones, or it can be equal to 4. So among this 2, 3 and 4 we are going to select the maximum one, that is equal to 4. So the degree of the node of this particular network is equal to 4. Then the diameter. Diameter means it is equal to the maximum shortest path between any two nodes. So between any two nodes means some nodes are having the distance as equal to only 1. But when you go for the extreme ones, that means the left top corner and the right bottom corner what we are having, when we go for this one, there the diameter will be equal to maximum, which is equal to 2 into n minus 1. That means I have to pass through 6 links for communicating between these two nodes. That is why the diameter here it is equal to 2 into 3, which is equal to n minus 1. So 2 into 3 is equal to 6. We have to pass through 6 links for communicating between the extreme ends, and that is the diameter of this network. The torus will be having the ring connections along each row and each column of the grid. In general, if I am having a n cross n binary torus, it will be having its node degree as 4, and the diameter here it will be equal to 2 into n by 2. That means it depends upon what type of connection we have made by using the wraparound. So the torus is symmetric topology. All added wraparound connections, they are going to help us reducing the diameter by 1/2 than what it was done by using the mesh network. Systolic arrays, they are the class of multidimensional pipelined array architectures which are for implementing specific algorithms. So in some applications like signal processing, image processing, systolic arrays will be used for better performance over the cost. Here the structure has limited applicability and it is very difficult to program. But we have some examples like the Intel iWarp system, which was given by Anaratone and others in the year 1986, which was designed with a systolic architecture. So this particular architecture is very interesting when we go for the research areas. That is why it has been popular in the research area, and the systolic array was given by the Kung and Lesserson in the year 1978. The hypercube static interconnection network, it depends upon the n dimensions. So we will be having 2 nodes in every dimension, and the total number of nodes will be equal to 2 to the power of n. The hypercube is very bad when we go for trying to scale it. That means when we want to increase its capacity, the performance will come down. And also the packaging is difficult for higher dimensional hypercubes. That means if you want to pack them together and if you want to make them work together by putting many number of nodes here, the packaging is very difficult. You cannot put multiple of them together. A hypercube network, it will be having the edges connection only if their bit representation in terms of 1 bit will be different. So then only edge will be connected. So here we are having 4 is connected to 6, 5 and 0 because only 1 bit is different from the pairs over here. With 4 and 6, the middle bit is different. With 4 and 5, the last bit, the least bit is different. With 4 and 0, the most significant bit is different. That is why we can have the connection. So this is a 4-bit hypercube. So we have 2 cubes over here, and these cubes will be numbered by using 4 bits. So if there is a change in one of the bits, only in one of the bit, only then edge will be connecting the nodes. Suppose I am having 1 1 1 0 in the first cube. This is connected to 0 1 1 0 in the second cube because there is only 1 bit change. and 1110 is also connected to other nodes here, which is having again 1 bit different. Suppose I want to communicate from the source to the destination. We can move from the source to the destination by making use of different paths. The paths can be based on the different bits what we have. Based on that you can establish the path, and but you can see that the path size will be same whether you are coming from any of these method. Either you are coming from suppose from 0101 you move to 0111, then come to 0011. From there you come to the destination. How many links? So we have 3 links happening over here. Again we are again having the 3 links only. When you go from 0101 to 1101, from there you go to 1111 and then to the destination. So because of this we are having the uniformity, and this hypercube, because of the 2 cubes, we are creating multiple paths with respect to the 4 bits. The cube connected cycle, it is modified from the hypercube. So we can have a k cube connected cycle from a k cube where n will be equal to 2 to the power of k cycles nodes. So the idea here is we can replace each vertex of the k dimensional hypercube by a ring of k nodes. A k cube can be thus transformed to a k cube connected cycle with k into 2 to the power of k nodes. So this particular architecture is good for building scalable systems, but the drawback is we will be having latency. So if the latency is tolerable, then we can go for this particular cube connected cycle. The k-ary n-cube networks, they are topologically isomorphic with respect to the rings, meshes, tori, binary and omega networks. That means they are similar. The node in the k-ary n-cube network, it can be identified by a n-digit radix k address, where the capital A will be equal to A1, A2 up till AN, where AI, it is going to represent the node's position in the ith dimension. The parameter n is the dimension of the cube and k is the radix value. The k will indicate the number of nodes, that is the multiplicity along the each dimension. These two numbers are related to the number of nodes capital N in the network by n is equal to k to the power of n. That is capital N is equal to k to the power of small n. Low dimensional k-ary n cubes, they are called tori, that is plural of torus, and high dimensional binary n cubes, they are called as the hypercubes. So the network throughput, it is the total number of messages a network can handle in a unit time. That means the total number of messages it can take care of, that is the throughput. Then one way how we can go for estimating the maximum number of messages is we can go for its capacity. Throughput is usually a fraction of its capacity. That means the capacity will be much more, but actually how much it can handle, that is the throughput. So hotspot means we'll be having a pair of nodes, and this pair of nodes, it is going to handle much of the traffic. So this particular hotspot, it may cause some traffic over here. That means congestion can happen. So this hotspot throughput is the maximum rate at which between these two specific nodes, how many messages we can send. That is called as the hotspot throughput. The latency is another term which is very helpful in the networks. So the latency will be minimized in the static interconnection network when the network radix k value and the dimension n, they'll be chosen in such a way that the components of the latency, because of the distance and the message aspect ratio, it should be approximately equal. So this is going to occur if we are having very low dimensions. So up to 1024 nodes, the best dimension it is equal to 2. So here we are having the summary of all the static interconnection networks what we have just studied now. So we have the linear arrays, the ring, the completely connected networks, binary trees, star, mesh, specifically the iliac mesh, the torus, the hypercube, the cube connected cycles, and the k-array n cube with respect to their node degrees, the network diameter, the number of links, the bisection width, whether it is symmetrical, and also what will be the network size, how much we can increase or decrease, based on what factor. All these things are summarized over here. So we can see every type of interconnection network is having its own different parameters varying. So you can look at one particular this cube connected cycle. So where we have the node degree is 3, network diameter is given by 2k minus 1 plus k by 2, and the number of links it is 3n divided by 2, and the bisection width is here, it is symmetrical. So each of them are depending upon where we have to apply them. So the best one would be where we are having the k-array n cube, where we can go for multiple dimensions also, and we can also go for multiple levels, and then we can go for implementing a network. For a multi-purpose or a general purpose application, we can go for the next one, which is called as dynamic connection network. So here, based on the program demand, the communication pattern can change. Here we are not going to make use of fixed connections. We are going to make use of switches and arbiters so that the paths can be changed dynamically. So if we consider the increasing order of the cost and performance in this dynamic connection networks, the simplest ones are the bus systems, then the multi-stage interconnection network, and the most complex one with respect to the cost and performance, they are the crossbar switch networks. So we'll see about all these three in this particular topic. The first one is the digital bus in the dynamic connection network. This bus system, it is a collection of wires and connectors. By using this bus system, processors, memory modules, and peripheral devices can communicate. But here the communication is going to happen only one at a time between source and destination. If we want to increase the number of communications, then we have to go for a arbitration logic. That is why the digital bus is also called as a contention bus or a time sharing bus, because multiple modules, they will be competing for the bus. The bus system is having very less cost, but the drawback is it is having limited bandwidth when we are going to compare with other networks in this dynamic connection network. Many standards have been adopted for these digital buses by using the industrial bodies and the IEEE bodies. In the switch modules, A cross B switch module will be having A inputs and B outputs. If it is a binary switch, then we'll be having A value as 2 and B value also as 2. Practically, we are going to keep the values equal so that the computations will be easy for us. So we can have multiple type of switch modules where we'll be having 2 cross 2, 4 cross 4, 8 cross 8 like this. Each input it will be connected to one or more of the output. So when there is a conflict, when we are having the output terminals and all, we have to avoid that one as far as possible so that the mapping has to be done properly. One-to-one, one-to-many mappings, they will be very simple, but many-to-one mappings, they will be not allowed. Why? Because there will be a conflict when we go for the output. When only one-to-one mappings are allowed, we call that particular module as a n cross n crossbar switch. That means if I am having a 2 cross 2 crossbar switch, they can connect two possible patterns. It can be either straight or it can be crossover. In general, a n cross n crossbar, it can achieve n factorial permutations. So the number of combinations what we can have, it will be varying depending upon the size of the module. The multi-stage interconnection networks, they are widely used in MIMD and SIMD computers. A generalized multi-stage network, it will be having A into B switches which are used in each of the stages. The switches can be dynamically set to establish the desired connections between the inputs and the output. The simplest switch module, it is a 2 cross 2 switch where A equals B equals 2. The interconnection patterns which can be used in multi-stage interconnection networks are perfect shuffle, butterfly, multi-way shuffle, crossbar, cube connection, what we have studied previously. The omega network, it is having a 2 cross 2 switch, and this switch can be configured in 4 ways, either a straight way, a crossover, upper broadcast or a lower broadcast. The 4 stages of this 2 cross 2 switches, and we are having one static perfect shuffle for each of the interstage communication. So here we are in the next slide you will be seeing a 16 by 16 omega network which can be constructed by using these 4 stages of the switches. So in general, the n input omega network, it is going to require log 2n stages of 2 into 2 switches and n by 2 number of switch modules for its implementation. So that means if I am having the n value, it is equal to 16 means, then here we will be having log 2 of 16. That means 4 stages will be there and we will be having 2 cross 2 switches. We are going to require 8 of them. That means 16 by 2. So number of modules will be equal to 8. This figure over here, it shows the 4 possible connections of a 2 cross 2 switch. This 2 cross 2 switch, it is used for constructing the omega network, which is a 16 cross 16 network. The 4 stages of this 2 cross 2 switch, they will be required for completing the entire network. So there are 16 inputs and there are 16 outputs. The one on the left is the input and on the right is the output. The interstage pattern, it is a perfect shuffle. That means we have seen the perfect shuffle. 1 bit difference will be there. 1 bit will be moved and then we are going to have a shuffle. So 16 objects are there. So we are going to number them from 0000 to 1111. So 0000 it will be connected to 0000. And the last one again 1111 will be connected to 1111. But the intermediate ones what are there? Based on the shifting what is going to happen, the shuffling what is going to happen, they will be connected accordingly. Various combinations of the switch, it is going to implement different type of permutations, broadcasting and other connections from the inputs to the outputs. So the baseline network, it is a class of multi-stage interconnection network which can be generated recursively. That means if I am having in the first stage n cross n block, in the second stage it will become n by 2 cross n by 2. It is going on reducing and the smallest sub-block, it will be a 2 cross 2 module. The smallest sub-module which is a 2 cross 2, it is a switch which is consisting of 2 connections which are valid, that is straight and crossover, and it will be having 2 inputs and 2 outputs. So this is a 4 cross 4 baseline network which will be consisting of In this case it is a 4 cross 4, but the simplest unit will be a 2 cross 2 one. So this 4 cross 4 what is there, we are going to reduce this further and we are going to bring it down to a 2 cross 2 network, and then we are going to have a bigger network which is in terms of a 2 cross 2 network. The last network is the crossbar network, which is providing the highest bandwidth and interconnection capability. A crossbar network, it can be seen as a single stage switch network. Like one telephone switchboard, the cross-point switches, they are going to provide the dynamic connections between the source and the destination. Every cross-point switch, it is going to provide one dedicated connection between the source and the destination. The switch can be set on or off dynamically depending upon the program demand. So to build a shared memory multiprocessor, we can make use of a crossbar network between the processors as well as between the memory modules. So this is a memory access network. One particular machine, that is the C.MMP multiprocessor, it was implemented by using this crossbar network, which was a 16 cross 16 network. So it connected 16 PDP 11 processors and 16 memory modules, out of which the capability was 1 million words of memory cells. The 16 memory modules, they could be accessed by the processors in parallel. Here we are having the summary of the dynamic network characteristics. So with respect to the bus, multistage and crossbar. So we can see the latency, the bandwidth, the wiring complexity, switching, connectivity, and all the computers which are the examples for this particular network. So this concludes the interconnection networks, the static and the dynamic interconnection networks. We will continue in the next class.